Today's episode of Crime Crazy is brought to you by Audible. Now, fans of Crime Crazy Podcast can get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/crimecrazy. They have over 180,000 titles to choose from, and you can listen on your iPhone, your Android, your Kindle, or your MP3 player. www.audibletrial.com/crimecrazy. Okay, did you erase the old one?
Yes.
Okay, then we're good.
Oh.
Because otherwise they'd be recording at the same
I
time.
Hit the buttons.
Okay. Why isn't our sound guy hitting the buttons?
He's on his 15.
Welcome to Crime Crazy, the weekly true crime podcast with Aaron Klein.
And Jordan Middleton.
Where we prove
that we know nothing about our legal system,
but we're still crazy for a good true crime story.
One day, I'm going to say this in unison with you, and you're not going to know what to do.
I'm not. So, do you listen to Wine and Crime?
Occasionally.
Okay, so I'm obsessed with Wine and Crime. Girls, I'm not listening this week. Sorry, but your picture on Twitter had teeth, and I'm not listening. Let's see, Kenyon. Mm-hmm. So there are three hosts, right? And they do theirs like over Skype or whatever. So Kenyon always I think it's Kenyon that always says the beginning like part of it. And then Lucy one time, right after she said it, she was in a really quiet voice just repeating it. So it'd be like, welcome to Crime Crazy, welcome to Crime Crazy. Oh. And Kenyon thought there was an echo and she thought she was going crazy, and it was great. So it was fantastic.
That's funny. I would do that to you. And
yes.
You'd be like, something's wrong.
Now we have to start over. However, I do want to point out, we've gotten it right like 4 weeks in a row.
I don't jinx us. Knock on wood.
It's amazing. Are you kidding? That's awesome. So, hey, Jordan, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm excited to tell you my little stories today.
So, should we introduce our guest?
Our sound guy?
Yeah.
He doesn't have a mic.
He doesn't have a mic, so he doesn't get
really
to be on
loud.
it. I think it's making me feel awkward.
Really?
I don't know. I feel a little strange. Well, plus I'm so far away from you.
I know. She's on the other side of the room. It's a little weird.
It is a little bit. I'm really comfortable. Like, I'm really enjoying this, actually. I didn't have to, like, climb into my seat. I also like that the computer's way over there and I'm not in charge of it today.
Yeah, I'm just kind of watching it.
You're not comfortable? You have a footstool right there. You could, relax.
I have my shoes on, and it's, I don't know.
What happened?
I never podcast with my shoes on.
No, you don't. All right, pause while Jordan takes her shoes off.
Sorry, guys. Okay, hold on. Let me get comfortable. Because I forgot it was a sound guy's problem if the computer screen goes
That's right. You don't have to be in charge of the computer screen. We've hired a sound guy. We're paying him in my husband's coffee because he made a pot of coffee for us and we let him have some. And he's in charge of making sure the screen doesn't go black. He also watched us set up the mics.
Okay, guys. So, let's get on track. This is our 23rd episode.
Holy shit.
That's a lot.
Right?
And the number 23 means something to me.
Does it?
It does.
What does it mean?
Have you ever seen the movie The Number 23?
No, but that's what you were... Okay. All right. Now I'm like making connections.
Aaron does not really like Jim Carrey, but I think you would like him in that movie. He's crazy. It's so twisty and turny. And the number 23 has like this weird conspiracy theory behind it.
Ooh, it's a good prime number.
And after I watched this movie, it totally changed my life.
What? A Jim Carrey movie changed your life?
Everything ends up being the number 23 in your life. And you just keep finding it. And you're like...
Yeah, but they could say that about any number. And you would keep finding it over and over and over again.
The anti-believer. So
I know, I can't wait. We're almost about, like, we were like, okay, when we hit that next goal, double our first goal, and then all of a sudden, I don't know what happened. Somebody told somebody about our show, and now we're almost to that next goal.
And she does not want to go to the psychic.
I do want to go to the psychic.
I went there not too long ago, and he told me the craziest stuff. It's always true. There's no way he could know it. It's so weird.
Well, here's the thing. No matter what he tells me, I'm going to not believe it, but it's always going to be in my head.
Well, you can't not believe it because you can't go in there and be like, no, like a skeptic, because then you're like less likely to receive what you're supposed to. You're supposed to go in there with an open mind. Oh, that's
such bullshit. But how convenient is that?
No, but
if you're a skeptic, this won't work for you.
Well, no, you're just like, everything he says, even if it's right, you're like, well, that's not right. Then that's not going to work.
Sure, I just know that it's going to be like non-specific, so of course it applies.
Well, no, I went and it was so specific. I was like, oh my God, and I can't say what it was about because it involves other people.
Okay.
But oh my God, and then my friend went and he was mentioning this thing that she had on her wall when she was a kid. And she was like, that was the scariest thing. I hadn't thought about that in years.
I think it'll be great fun.
It's crazy. I'm gonna convert her, y'all. Don't worry about it. Okay. So the number 23 has like this whole like enigma thing about it, kind of like. So I'll give you some examples of how the number 23 happens across time.
Okay.
So I'm gonna skip a few because some of them are just like a little weird and I don't know.
So wait, what's happening here is like you're starting. We're starting. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I kind of started. These are like
I didn't know we were just still chatting.
There are no crimes, so it's kind of me just like mentioning this to you.
Okay, all right, I'm ready.
Julius Caesar was stabbed 23 times.
Okay.
And let's see the chromosomes that the human body has.
Oh, 23. Yeah. All right.
And let's see. Oh, the letter W is the 23rd letter of the alphabet.
Okay.
And
what is that?
It's 3 down. So when you write a W, it's 3 and 2. Get it? So 23. Okay. I know. That's why I love all these ones that are kind of a stretch. But
because really, I mean, the letter A is number 1 and the letter C is number
but there's not. But like the 23 and the 2 and 3, how to write it, that's what they're saying.
Okay.
So A.
I feel like I can find that with some other letters.
Well, okay. Have fun.
Okay. not live. Let's keep going. Okay.
So let's see. Obviously the number 23 with like the movie. It was the 23rd movie that the director directed.
He could do that on purpose.
And well, that's what they're saying. They're like, this is just marketing, and it was released on February 23rd.
Well, of course it is. Why would you not?
I would say, why would you not release it? But it is a really good movie. Let me see. There's a few. Oh, the first message sent by telegraph was a quotation from the book of Numbers, chapter 23, verse 23. So that's like, and what was the other one? Oh, super conspiracy theory that I still see everywhere. That the 9/11 attack was September 2001. Not 19. What was I thinking? I'm like looking at the numbers. So 9 plus 11 plus 2 plus 1 is 23.
Oh my God.
I love it. So after I watched this movie, I was in church counting the numbers in the hymns, and I was like, 23.
Oh my God.
But I found 23 everywhere. It's fun because you're like, oh my gosh. But if you ask any of my friends, the number 23 haunted me for years. So I was scared to be 23 when I got to that birthday, that everyone was like,
you lived here then,
this
right?
is the year.
Probably. Didn't you live here your 23rd year?
Yeah.
I mean, you've lived here several times.
I've been here and there, you know. Right. I've been around here, there. But mostly Jenna. Every time I looked at the clock, it was always whatever, 23.
Nice.
It always freaked me out.
I mean, I see 12:34 almost every day. Like, I just happen to see it.
See, and 23 was my number. I always saw it. So when I turned 23, I was freaking out.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So those are your little facts and little funny conspiracy theory for the episode 23.
I like it.
You have to watch that movie, though.
Okay, well, I'll think about it. Is it scary?
No, it's like
it's a Jim Carrey movie, so.
But he's crazy in this. Like, he's not funny at all.
Oh, okay.
Like, he's
never funny at all. That's the problem.
He's hilarious. I watched Ace Ventura the other day, and I was quoting the entire movie, and I was cracking up. I love him. I hate that you hate him.
He's
such a good painter too.
Really?
Yeah, there's this like mini documentary about him. He's like such a painter.
Okay, so what I was going to say is we forgot to talk about 2 Pods again.
Well, we didn't forget. We're barely into the depths of things.
We're like 30 minutes into the episode.
No way.
How much are we?
Got like 15. I don't know. Okay. I can't really actually.
So, what we have to talk about it now, because now it's August. It's we're in the middle of August.
That's so crazy.
Really, by the time this comes out, you may have already seen us. But we are involved in the 2 Pods a Day campaign. which I've described every time. You want to describe it? You want to talk about it?
So I was trying to describe it to Uncle Mike when we were at the gym yesterday, and he was like, "Oh, that's so cool." And I was like, "I hope I'm explaining this right." And I was thinking in my head, I'm like, "I think I've heard her explain it enough."
If you would listen to our podcast episodes after I edit them.
Yeah. It's like all of August, they pick 2 independent podcasts. Because a lot of people don't realize that most of like the popular ones I was looking are all under
like a radio station or a company. Right. They're not independent podcasts. These are all independent
podcasts.
AKA better podcasts.
Well, I'm not trying to say it.
Cooler podcasts. And like ours.
We are going to be, we haven't been on one yet, but like Erin said, we might be on one by the time you listen to this.
Right.
And pretty much this is the best way to get introduced to new podcasts for you to listen to of any genre.
Well, and so I've been there are a lot on Twitter. Like they have a WordPress site, right? Which is wordpress.com, 2 pods a day, however the WordPress thing works. I probably should have written that down. But they also do a lot on Twitter. Like it's a big Twitter campaign. And so that's where I see like who is up for the day and is it somebody that I know? And everything I see has been positive. Like every time you put a podcast on there, there are like 10 people that go, "Oh my gosh, it's my favorite podcast. It's so good. Like the hosts are so great and blah, blah, blah." So I think they do a pretty good job, like, which makes me super happy that we're on it. Like vetting podcasts, but also they're just, like it's a great like group bringing everybody together kind of thing. So
I'm excited.
So hashtag 2 pods a day or at 2 pods a day is their handle.
Oh, okay.
So, and then the other thing is just, I know I'm going to forget, but this episode comes out on the 15th.
Yes.
That means that you have, if you're listening to this on the 15th, as you should be, then you have until midnight to post a picture of yourself or a screenshot of yourself listening to Crime Crazy to get a sticker. And guys, like the sticker's pretty much almost gone. So real quick, take a picture, post it. All right, that's it. Okay. We can start now.
I was like, I don't know why in my head I was just
like, wait. Hashtag Crime Crazy 20.
I was there thinking, I'm like, did she say everything that was needed to be said?
No, there were parts missing there.
Isn't it?
It's lack of sleep.
I did not sleep at all last night.
No, and I
pulled my back out on both sides. So the fact that I can walk today is a miracle on its own.
Yeah, no kidding.
So much icy on.
Oh.
So
I think our sound guy's going to fall asleep.
I don't blame him.
He's just being quiet. Did you want to say hi really loud? No. You're talking right now, but I don't think you're being picked up on the mics at all. He's like, but I'm running out of coffee. All right. So, Jordan, you have 2 stories this week. Is there anything you didn't do that you want to tell us about?
No, because I looked at so many stories. My brain was frying.
Oh, yeah.
Because I wanted to find good ones. But then you said you had a fair few of little baby ones.
I do. I'm not telling all of them. Okay. So there's a bunch that I didn't do too. But I am trying to meet our ongoing challenge. Yeah. And I got to say, Mike, I know you didn't mean to be mean.
Yep.
But holy shit, dude, I can't find the story.
When I was trying to look that up, I was getting so mad because I kept hitting dead ends. And I was like, I don't even want to look at this anymore.
I know. Well, because apparently chefs commit certain kinds of crimes. And there are things like spousal abuse and pedophilia and spitting in people's food. Like not what I was going for.
Yeah.
Which does, Uncle Mike, you want to just like double check the boyfriend. Because he's a chef and apparently that's what chefs do according to the media.
That's why I never send food back when I'm at a restaurant.
Never, ever.
And if also, I do, I will not get food there again.
My co-host is a chef on Shortlisted.
Oh, right.
So, Brian, I'm going to be looking into your background.
For a second, I thought you were talking about me, and my eyes got big, and I was like, I'm not a chef.
But you bake.
I do. I do want to cook, though. I get in moods of, like really taking my time and cooking all day long. Yeah. But I haven't done that in a while, and I really want to.
If I had a better kitchen, I would cook all the time. We need to get back on track. So what's your story?
We're on track. Okay. So, because I'm sticking partially with the theme that it's the 23rd episode.
Okay. All right.
This little baby story takes place in Maine, which happens
Wait, is this a baby story?
Yeah. Well, they're kind of both baby stories.
Oh, okay.
But not really. Like, I don't know.
Okay, all right.
I'm not giving anything
I thought maybe
away.
you were switching up the order and it was going to throw me off.
No, I almost did, but I forgot. I wrote them out of order. So I had to flip back.
Okay.
So 23rd state in the union is Maine. And Maine is also one of those places I always want to listen to us, and they don't.
Well, no, we have some listens in Maine.
Because we keep calling them out.
We do.
But
because I did
stuff going on there.
The Black Bear bed and breakfast.
Which was funny because I clicked on all of the stories, and then I didn't read them first. I just kind of opened all the tabs, and that was one. And as I was reading it, I didn't even click the names, and I'm reading it. I'm like, this sounds so familiar. And I was like, oh, the BBB&B.
The BBB&B. So here's my theory about why we don't have more listeners in Maine than we do. I don't think anybody lives there. There are like 8 people in Maine. It's cold.
Oh, man.
And there are things like moose.
I like moose.
Moose can like kick your ass.
Well, yeah.
They're like alligators, but with long legs.
I watched a show about alligators.
Ew.
They're
Okay, tell me your main story.
Okay,
we gotta
so
stop
Maine.
talking about these creepy animals.
So this was about a guy who's 53 years old in Portland, Maine.
So he's older than me.
Yes.
By a little bit.
By a lot of it.
Okay.
He was born in 1950.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Then he's older than 53.
He was
53. Okay. I was going to say because it has been longer than 53 years.
No. He was 53.
Okay.
So, in April, on the 27th...
My story takes place in April.
What?
Sorry, go ahead.
On the 27th in 2003, Daniel Bondson, who knows, actually committed suicide.
What? That is a crime, but that's not a crime.
But the reason why was because of the crime he committed. So 5 days after this accidental crime,
did he accidentally commit suicide?
No, he accidentally committed
a crime. Okay, and then felt bad and killed himself.
Are you ready for
I'm sorry, Mom, that I'm interrupting Jordan.
All the time, Mom. Are you ready for the thunder?
Oh, yes. Did you guys like my sound effects last episode?
Accidental death by poisoning the church coffee pot.
Oh, my God.
So,
did he kill people?
Accidental because he didn't want to kill anyone. He just wanted to make them sick.
Oh, my God.
So one man did die.
Oh, no.
I know. And he was an older man.
Because I was going to say church is full of old people.
Oh, yeah. So, one died, which I was like, oh, shit. So, a little more than a dozen people got sick, and one died. And he died the next morning. He went to the hospital that night and died the next morning. So
that is so tragic.
Oh, yeah. So what he said in his suicide note, which is where a lot of this information came to light from what he left behind, he wrote that he wanted to upset their stomachs like they did his.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. And they flat out said, they're like, we still don't know what that meant or what they did to upset him so badly.
Was he a member of the church? He must have been if he was making coffee.
Yeah. So they had like a light refreshments thing after their pastor or preacher, whatever it is, talked. I don't know what kind of church it was. So
it probably should, if it's coffee, it should take place before the preacher starts to talk, right? So that you can stay awake.
Like my church, we would do full-blown luncheons almost every Sunday after church, to where it was like 2 8-foot tables full of food that people brought in.
Well, yeah, but I'm just thinking the coffee needs to come before somebody lectures you for 45 minutes or an hour or an hour and a half.
It depends on what kind of church. Some of them are like bebopping and dancing around.
Well, that's true.
So
ours, boring.
Well, see, that's
one of the reasons I don't go.
So he made this huge coffee pot, and I think it was like 13 or 14 people drank from this coffee pot. One of the older men actually died, but he said he knew he put a poison in there, but he did not know it was arsenic.
Wait,
that was what was in his note.
So, okay, did he put rat poison in there and he just didn't know that it was going to be lethal?
I don't think they ever found out what he did put in there, but
he found a bottle. It was labeled poison. He dumped it in the coffee pot. He just didn't know what kind of poison it was.
I think that's how planned out this was.
It sounds great.
So
it sounds like a great crime.
Well, I always pick the dumb ones. So
that's true. Dumb criminals, not dumb.
I was really hoping I could find what the church did to him that hurt his, like, upset his stomach. And, like, I don't know.
He probably just figured they were like hypocrites, or they were.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He didn't look like holier than thou. You know how sometimes they look that way?
Yeah.
He didn't look that way, so I was like, okay. But he stated several times that he acted alone. And one time he, like, underlined it. And
so he didn't act alone.
So that's what I was thinking. But in the early stages of the investigation, they already thought he had an accomplice, but they never could prove it.
All right, so I have a question.
Okay.
When the people got poisoned, because there's like a 5 days stretch between when he did it and when he killed himself.
Yeah.
So it's like he killed himself like 4 days after the old guy died.
So the church service was April 27th. He died May 3rd. So.
Okay. All right. So then my question is, when the guy died and everybody got sick, had they already identified that it was a poisoning and like an intentional poisoning from the coffee pot? Or was it like they just figured he died until this other guy killed himself and admitted it?
No, I think that after because everyone immediately, that like as soon as it sunk in pretty much, had started vomiting, diarrhea. A bunch of them went to get treated.
Right.
Because they're like, oh my gosh. So I think it's kind of like when you go out with a group of people and everyone gets food poisoning and you're trying to figure out what food it was. But I don't think they realized it was intentional until this note, and he killed himself.
So it could have been like spoiled creamer.
I mean,
really spoiled creamer.
So that's what I'm thinking. They probably didn't realize what it was until the guy died and they autopsied him, or like they took his blood. Even before he died, they took his blood or whatever they did, and they tried to trace what happened to him. So I think I'm
sure they did a tox screen on a bunch of them if they all got sick.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
And then someone died.
See, but I'm the person that, like, anytime I get food poisoning, I don't rush to the hospital. So if I was poisoned, I'd probably die.
I'd probably die.
I would probably
alone
die
in my house, and my dogs would eat me.
That's how I was on vacation. All of a sudden, I was so sick for like a day and a half.
When I went to that conference, I thought I was going to die. I was like texting my mom. I was like, I'm going to lie down for exactly 30 minutes, and then I'm going to text you again, like, because I might die.
Yeah, that's
somebody
what I'm saying.
to know.
Like, half these people probably didn't even go to the hospital. I think this man who did go was just old and.
Well, sure, because if you're old, then that's way more dangerous.
Yeah. So.
That's so tragic.
They never could prove that he had an accomplice of anyone in the church or a visitor or anything like that.
Right.
So without any solid evidence, they kind of just went off of he acted alone.
What he said, yeah.
So.
Well, I feel like the only kind of accomplice that you would need to carry out that crime would be somebody to get you the poison.
Yeah.
So I can see, like, wanting to protect that person because maybe, like, they're obviously a little unscrupulous, but they're not necessarily like out to hurt specific people.
Well,
they're
just
your hookup.
His note was clearly to retaliate against the church congregation,
right?
But there was no. I still want to know why. Like, what did they do? Does this church need to be looked into? What happened?
Right. What's going on there?
No such luck. I didn't get anything.
Boring.
But
no, not really.
That's
so tragic.
Weird little twist in this was that he had committed suicide and left the suicide note at this old farmhouse. That was actually his sister's house, and his sister's name was Norma. Well, I think it was shortly before this incident happened, Norma was actually recorded that she had symptoms of vomiting and diarrhea. And they don't know if maybe she was accidentally or intentionally poisoned with the same poison.
Maybe he was testing it out.
So there was really nothing about that. She didn't want to talk to anyone. It was like this investigation, like the article I was reading, had gone on for 3 years already.
Oh,
and
wow.
she refused to talk every single time.
Are we 100% sure he wrote the suicide note and that she didn't write the suicide note?
She wasn't even in the area when all of this happened. Even when the church incident happened, or when he killed himself.
Right.
She wasn't. She like has a good alibi. Like, she's out. I know. But
Too bad, because in my crime novel about this case, it would totally be the sister.
See, and I think he tested it on her to see how much is too much.
Oh my God.
I'm just saying, like, she only got sick.
Or like, how much is enough to make her sick?
Yeah, she didn't die. She just got sick. So I think he thought, oh, then this is the right amount. But
of
the old man couldn't his body just could not take
well,
anything.
Well, it depends too. Like, all right, so if I'm like testing it on somebody's coffee pot and then I'm making a huge thing of coffee for a church, that's different. I'm gonna have to use different amounts. And if she had a half a cup of coffee and dude had like 4 cups of coffee at church, like that's not.
See, I was thinking about the coffee and I was like, all right, so it's probably an industrial coffee pot.
It's got to be.
So he could have done maybe double the amount of a normal at home coffee pot.
Like at home, I make 6
church,
cups.
They only have those little throwaway styrofoam cups. Like they don't have a coffee mug. So I was like trying to balance this out in my head. I was like, okay, so if you take this and carry the 2.
Beware if you ever go to church with Jordan. Why? She is trying to figure out how much poison to put in the coffee pot. That's what I'm hearing.
There has to have been a reason. He tested this out on his sister first. And then he said, well, I didn't know it was arsenic. Like how...
Right.
Like you said. It's
where
like
did you get it?
A bottle.
Right. It's not actually... It's only labeled poison in cartoons. I mean, like it's labeled poison, but it's not like just the word poison.
With like a little skull and crossbones. Like,
it's like the Emperor's New Groove when she's like got the poison and then he turns into a llama and then she unrolls the label and she's like, oh crap, this is the...
She's like,
that's what it was.
Essence of llama.
She was like, he was like, I knew this was poison. I just didn't know it was arsenic.
Right. Oh man.
Put him in a box.
That was my little story about Maine.
Excellent.
That was
Maine. What's up there? We have these sweet as can be random bed and breakfast owners who get brutally murdered by a crazy guy.
Yep.
And we have another guy who's poisoning church coffee.
I'm not sure which one. For something he wouldn't even own up to.
Well, to retaliate for something that now nobody knows what it is. It is not good payback if the people you're paying back don't understand and learn the lesson.
Right? Unless he's in that complex of, well, they know what they did.
Yeah. Oh, he probably thinks so. Yeah. Because it's important to him. So why wouldn't it be important to them? Ugh. Interesting. Yep. All right.
So that was my little baby story about Maine.
Okay. So I am still working on Mike's challenge. We've talked about it before, but the challenge was to find a story about a chef who gets arrested for using illegal ingredients. And I think the spirit of this was somebody who was like, I don't know, importing some rare something or other that's dangerous or like endangered, or like those little birds that you put the napkin over your face and then eat the whole bird, beak and feathers and bones.
What?
Yeah,
what is that?
Okay, so that's a thing. So
a bird?
It's a French delicacy. They're a little songbird, a little bit like a sparrow.
I am going to throw up.
They're really tiny, and apparently they taste like foie gras and something else. They're real rich, but they're super tiny. And so they would catch them, and I think you fry them. I don't remember how you prepare.
Whole feathers and all?
Yes, just stick the bird in the pot. And
oh my God,
it's such a... Well, it's disgusting. So, of course, you want to put the napkin over your face. But it's also supposed to be like, this is offensive to God to eat something so pure. So you have to cover your face so that nobody can see you eat it.
Oh,
and there was like a French... What do they have prime ministers? Okay, good. Cameron's also our fact-checking guy. And... he ate a whole bunch of them, he was dying and he knew it was going to be one of his last meals, but he ate it at this event and this is the whole big thing. Anyway, they're illegal most places because they are now so endangered because apparently
because they're freaking snacking on them like they're Ritz crackers. Like
you eat the whole little bird. You just beak, feathers, intestines, brains, bones, all of it.
That noise also... I literally want to throw up. I feel so bad for these little baby birds. I'm looking one up because I need to see how pretty it is.
It just looks like a bird. It's not French like a hummingbird or something.
Snack.
Do like napkin over your face. That's a good search term. Also, just side plug, our last episode of Shortlisted, our top 10 list was top 10 like crazy foreign delicacies or something along those lines. Anyway, I basically came up with a list of she found a picture of the bird. Oh my God. Put it on Instagram.
Oh my God. They have these little napkins. laughing to not cry. They have little KKK laughing. Members in the freaking restaurant. Oh, no.
They're evil. They're eating whole birds.
No. Guys, I'm just going to put this on Instagram and just be like, just wait for it. And no one's going to know.
No one's going to know.
Now. Oh, no.
So I could have done a story about that, but I couldn't find anybody who was arrested for that. Like, yes, it's technically criminal, but people don't get arrested for serving illegal food. It just, no one bothers. Like, they might get fined or, like, their business might get fined. But I just think it was a super, super hard challenge. So anyway, I was going to say shortlisted. We did that. It ended up being just, like, super nasty foods.
I bet.
And Brian was like, oh, yeah, I would try that. I would try that. I would try that. Cameron found a picture, too. I would not try any of them. But
I am the pickiest eater in the world. I'm almost positive. And this is making me so sad that they're just literally like
eating the whole thing.
Oh my god.
Nom, 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 nom.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, so that is not what I did my story on.
Thank God.
My story takes place in Texas.
Sound guy. Oh, he's good. We gotta keep him
on the job.
Okay, sorry. Start again, Erin.
Okay, my story takes place in Texas this year. I know. Okay, so I have to apologize in advance. This is not a gripping story. I'm going to try to make it dramatic, but there is no drama.
I'll make it dramatic.
All right, so Bruce Molson, I don't know. He was a restaurant owner.
Okay.
Until October of 2016, he owned a restaurant named Ruggles Green. But then I guess sold it or whatever, and then he became associated with a second restaurant called Ruggles Black. Ruggles Green and Black both still exist. Oh. I don't know. There's got to be some story behind that name, but I didn't bother to research.
I wouldn't.
Anyway, he was actually arrested, and he was charged with operating an illegal seafood smuggling network.
Illegal seafood.
But okay, so that sounds interesting, and immediately I'm thinking like pufferfish or like some endangered species or like dolphin or something. No. All right, so here's what he smuggled. Red snapper, tuna, amberjack, grouper. Fish that you could go to a restaurant and order. So here's why it was illegal. There are limits on all of those. Those are like threatened species. So there are limits on how many that you can get, and you have to be a licensed fisherman. You have to catch within your limit, and you can't sell more. So he was selling things that were caught illegally, either above and beyond the allowed limits, or in a protected area, or in like by unlicensed fishermen or whatever else.
Okay.
So it's not like the most dramatic of crimes.
But it could be, though. Because if they, especially if it's from like a certain area, that the tuna might eat something that's eating other things. It could ruin the whole ecosystem.
Oh, yeah. So no. It's still a horrific
really bad
thing to do. Oh, absolutely. I mean, there are reasons why you can't do that. He was apparently buying from some unlicensed fishermen and so there was this huge like sting essentially, and they charged him with smuggling and serving, so buying and selling 28,000 pounds of unlawfully caught protected fish.
Oh my god.
And they said he made about $400,000. So, like, in the crime world, not all that much. Less than the Peruvian llamas.
Yeah.
But for one person, I wouldn't mind having an extra $400,000. So I guess, whatever. It definitely exceeds the limit to, like, become a major deal.
Yeah. It's kind of like when you're a drug dealer and then they find, or not even, when you get pulled over.
Like for possession.
And they're like, oh yeah. And then they find little baggies. And they're like, oh, with intent to distribute. And then also they just add it on there.
Right. It goes from being like, you should not have this thing to, oh, you're the bad guy in charge. So, but he was the bad guy in charge. Anyway, they filed for more than 200 Class C misdemeanors. And then there were felony charges against 2 unlicensed fishermen. Some of the charges against him include unlawful purchase of aquatic products by a restaurant, which I assume the fish are the aquatic products. Sales and purchases of protected fish, operating without a fish dealer's license, because he wasn't just buying it for his restaurant, but he was also like funneling it through his restaurant to other establishments. So they were talking about some of the issues being things like, not only are you potentially harming an ecosystem, but also because these fish were caught outside of the law, they're not being properly inspected. Like you were saying, like there could be something
like
wrong with them.
Even if you're crabbing and the crab is like an inch too short, you can get in trouble for that.
Well, and fish too.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
If it's not the right size.
Yeah.
So. Apparently little birds, whatever. But.
Oh, that's so sad to me right now. I mean, I don't like seafood, so maybe that's why I'm kind of like, whatever.
And
but
they're
the whole
fish.
Ecosystem thing, I'm like, oh my God.
No, it could be a really big deal.
Oh, yeah. But the
and
birds,
I know there'd be
anybody.
people that would be sad if any of those fish went extinct.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I would be only because of the ecosystem thing, not because I would never be able to eat them again, because I'm not eating them. But
still, that's so crazy to me.
Right?
Like, just because one guy wants to get ahead with some tuna steaks or some crap, he could ruin the entire ecosystem.
Right? No, that's true. Well, and I'm sure that, like, money was obviously a huge driving force for him to do all of that.
Because, I mean, if you had the option of not having $400,000 and having it, I think everyone would pick having it.
Well,
he just went the lengths of being illegal to get it.
Right. And I don't know how it started, but in my imagination, it starts with, I can buy from this person and fish cost X. Right. Or
some
like
Blackout Alley.
This other person
Hey,
is like, hey, these fell off the back of the truck. A guy
with like the trench coat. He opens it up and there's a bunch of fish hanging
and he's
there.
Got fish strapped
and it's just like slapping around.
Well, the turtle thing.
The turtle?
The smuggling the tortoises, was that on one of our actual episodes, or was that our first one? Didn't we talk about smuggling tortoises in the pants?
Yeah, but I don't know if we actually put that on episode or not.
Oh my God, if we didn't, then I'm going to go back and listen to, I don't think we did. I think it might have been in that first like trial episode. All right, there's a story about smuggling tortoises that we're going to have to do.
Yeah.
But that's what it reminds me of.
Yeah, that's so funny.
So.
Well, at least he got charged.
It's true. He's in trouble.
Oh, what a jerk. My last story is definitely a short one, but it's a good one.
Okay.
Because it's someone we know.
What? Wait. What?
Na-na-na-na.
What do you mean someone we know? Like a name we're going to recognize, or like someone we've met?
I mean, I don't know who you've met, so maybe both.
Okay, so it's a name we're going to recognize. Okay. You got me all excited.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're going to do a story about someone we know?
Oh, that would be funny. I should. I should just read the crime log for the county.
For the yeah.
Like, hello, welcome.
Thursday's Gazette says.
Oh, that's so funny. So my story.
Same names every week. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
All DUI and domestic violence.
Yeah. Oh, possession. There's a lot of possession.
Oh, there's a lot of possession. Yeah.
This one girl got pulled over for too much stuff hanging from her rear view.
Yes.
And then she went to jail for possession.
Yeah.
I said, what a bad turn of fate.
Right? Like, take the crap out of your car and then you'll be okay.
Can you take your tassel down?
Right.
Also, can you step out of the car? It smells like pot.
It smells like pot.
Oh, they do that. I watch live PD every weekend.
Yeah.
It's my job.
I've never seen it. When am I going to get to see this show?
You have to come over a Friday or Saturday night. It starts at 8. And it goes until like midnight or something. So you don't have to watch all of it, but you have to come over and watch some of it. Here's
the thing. Your movie room doesn't get it, does it?
No.
That's really tragic because I want to come watch things in your movie room.
I know. I'm in the process of trying to get... I just need to bring a cable box in there and set it up, and it would probably work.
If only you knew someone techie.
Yeah.
Whose job like revolved around technology.
I should probably find someone.
Yeah.
I wonder if the sound guy knows. Just kidding, sound guy. Okay, guys. Here's the story. It's about a little old man. Not really. I just called him that. I'm just throwing you off track. I call like weird things on purpose, but it's like, then I'm like, oh shit, they're going to take it seriously. He's not old.
Gotcha.
And he might not be little. Who am I to judge? So
this is not someone we know, by the way.
No. So it's someone famous.
Okay.
Which I was excited because we don't really
What sound goes with famous? You want like a gong clash? flash. I'm not really doing sound effects.
But yeah, but
like paparazzi.
I was thinking famous, and then the Price is Right sound, like the doo doo doo.
Oh my God. People would stop listening.
We
in a
literally,
heartbeat.
Mike and I say the Price is Right sounds when like things go wrong, especially if we're out in public. We're like, ba ba da.
Tobin was doing that the other day, and then I did it, and he's like, "You don't really know how to do that good." I was like,
okay, never mind. Thanks. So this was way before either one of us was born.
Okay.
On October 2nd, 1978.
Okay, by way before, you mean a couple years.
Way before, guys.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to make you sound young.
Well, you can try.
So, shortly after starting his stand-up career, I'm not going to tell you who it is until the end.
I'm excited.
So then if you have any guesses, more than...
Yep, I'll start guessing. Oh, but that's going to mean that I'm like accusing comedians that I know their names of a
lot
crime.
of celebrities have gotten in trouble. I don't think they'll be offended. Like, okay. Because after reading this...
I don't think they're listening.
Well, let's hope not.
Well, no, let's hope so.
What? Not this episode. Skip to the next one, guys.
23 is not your episode.
So
try 5. There's a cannibal.
Shortly after starting his stand-up career, he was caught by, I put the drug doggies, but the drug dogs at the Kalamazoo Battle Creek International Airport.
Okay, but every comedian ever, like maybe not caught, but has got, yeah. All right, go ahead.
So, I just think, he was found with 650 grams of cocaine on him.
Holy shit.
So
okay, it's probably not who I was thinking then.
Who are you thinking?
The one that looks like David's boyfriend.
One that looks like David's boyfriend.
My husband's boyfriend.
I don't know who he looks like.
Okay, then it's definitely not him.
Okay, no, probably not. So, he had, that equals to about 1.5 pounds almost.
Holy crap.
So
how expensive is that?
Of cocaine. I don't know. I was going to ask you if you had the cocaine calculator.
I don't have a cocaine calculator.
Oh, man.
Somebody's going to look through my Google search history and I'm going to jail.
Just be like, no, I promise.
How much?
I guess let's go by grams. 650.
650 grams of... Okay, the good news is Google is not yet suggesting cocaine.
Oh, that's good.
Cost. It's going to be all over the place.
But this was in the late 70s, so that might change it.
Ooh, all right, hold on. In the late 70s. All right, keep going while I look this up.
Okay. So he got caught. The dogs were like alerted,
They were like, holy shit, cocaine.
They were like, oh my God, I never smell this. And in exchange for not serving life in prison, he could have been charged with life in prison for this. That's insane to me. Mm-hmm. But like other people who do far worse crimes in my book get like a month or 2.
I don't know. That's a lot of cocaine though. That's not personal use.
Well, no, he was trafficking it.
Obviously. So that's kind of a bad crime.
More or less, I was making reference to that asshole swimmer who raped that girl and barely got anything.
Oh, yeah.
So like that's clearly worse.
And got nothing. No, I agree.
So,
I agree. Okay, I'm back.
In exchange for not serving life in prison, he ratted out other dealers for a shorter sentence. He sang like a canary that didn't get eaten.
Like I was gonna say, like a little canary that we deep fry and eat one bite.
I was like, dang. He was like, nope, I'm not wasting my life in here. Here's so and so's address. Here you go. So he ratted out a bunch of people. He got it down to 3 to 7 years.
I assume this is public knowledge that he ratted everybody out and that he's still alive, and we're not like going to out him on our podcast. And then everyone's going to kill him.
It's all over the internet. So if they, unless the dealers didn't look it up, but
how
really,
did they find me?
They're probably still in jail.
Well,
you
right.
know what I mean? Like,
well, yeah, but that doesn't mean that like they're friends and family and gang members and cartel and whatever happens.
Start
in the
researching
drug world.
their own crimes then, because I'm finding it like it's nothing. So,
this took me 30 seconds of research.
Right?
This took my personal assistant 30 seconds of research. I'm reading it for the first time.
So he only served 28 months, which isn't bad for being sentenced 3 to 7 years.
Right.
So a little over 2 years.
Right.
It's nothing. So when he was released, He was 29 years old. He struggled to find work and went back to stand-up. He continued to be in the public's eye doing stand-up, and then I'm trying to like give you hints without saying any words. A family-based show as the funny dad, and then
every comedian ever.
Not too long after that, probably during some of it, he was a part of one of the biggest Disney trilogies as one of the
currently
voices.
Disney or Disney when he was doing it?
Well, what do you mean?
I mean, Disney has acquired some things recently.
Well, they only have so many trilogies.
I know.
Yes,
I was gonna say,
Sound Guy knows.
I'm gonna feel really dumb here. I don't know what you're talking
The
about.
very last season of his family sitcom as the funny dad, he was getting $1.24 or $25 million an episode.
Holy shit.
He
didn't need all that cocaine.
And now he's back on the screen. It is another funny dad, another family sitcom. He was also in a very popular holiday movie trilogy. Jesus Christ. How?
I'm so glad I'm in charge of editing these.
No, you do not edit this out. People need to know.
Okay, that's why when we were playing, what were we playing? Oh no, is it Christy's house? And one of the categories, we were playing Pictionary, and one of the categories was like pop culture, and I was like, well, shit, this is all done. I will
have no
know
idea?
who you're talking about when you. I will try to know. I'm going to Google it.
No, do not. So who's your guess?
I don't have a guess.
Not a single guess? I know, but if I tell her the show.
All right. Super, super famous. Give me a hint about the Disney trilogy. That's where I'm most likely to know. Cartoon?
The little boy it's not Pixar, it's cartoon Disney.
Uh-huh.
The little boy grew up with my age people. That was like one of the best things. So they waited to do the third movie when my age group was at that part of their life. You have children.
Person in it?
No, it's that. Oh my God.
It's an animal.
I'm pretty sure it's Pixar.
Oh my God, it is Pixar. I told you it wasn't. I don't think it would matter anyways right now. Look at her face. I'm so sorry.
All right, is it Toy Story?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay.
someone in Toy Story,
Uh-huh.
a voice in
Like
Toy
I know
Story.
who's in Toy Story. I've only seen the first one time. Oh my God. When would I would have seen that? I was
quit
too
this
old.
podcast.
I was too old to think it was cool when it came out, and my kids are too young for us to have watched it.
Oh my gosh.
And I heard that the third one, nobody should. Isn't that the one where he goes to college and like gets rid of all the toys or something?
Remember, I was saying it's my age group.
I know, and you're a baby.
And there's a fourth one, like, yeah. So, so one of the voices in that, he was a famous sitcom dad.
In the show where he was a famous sitcom dad, was one of his sons my teenage crush?
Probably so.
So it's Tim Allen.
Yes.
Okay.
I was going to be like, because JT was there. I was like,
Yes,
hey.
JTT was there. That's
So,
mine.
His full name, legal name, was Timothy Allen Dick. And he shortened
and he
it to Tim
changed it?
Allen.
Well,
when he
I would
started-
too.
His career started taking off.
So did that have anything to do with the drug charges? Like why he shortened it?
No, I think it was just
I
he
had
struggled
no-
to find work after he got charged. And then once his stand-up kind of took off, he was like, I need to have a better name because I'm not going to be Tim Dick. I'm just saying, I wouldn't want to be Tim
Tiny
Dick.
Tim Dick. No, he's not particularly little. I mean, he's
No.
not big, but he's not like little.
No.
I had absolutely no idea.
I was about to start explaining Jungle to Jungle. I was about to go crazy Tim Allen on you.
Yeah.
I slipped up and in my head and I was like, just say that he was a Santa Claus. And I said, oh my God, that will give it away.
Right. That's kind of like, yeah.
Like, yeah, he played a Santa Claus in the
Santa Claus. Right.
But, yep, so that was his little crime.
His little crime.
Yeah.
That was a pretty major
I say
crime.
little because he only really served 2 years for it because it could have been life.
I am really
Can you imagine
impressed
if it's
that
life?
Disney wanted him after that.
That's
a felony
he got
charge.
the equivalent to like a lifetime achievement award at like a Kids' Choice Award thing in 96 after Toy Story.
He's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Huh.
But, like, I was reading about a lot of celebrities that everyone looks up to now.
Right, that
oh
we
my
don't
God.
know. Right. So my very, very beginning of this, when you were like, comedian, drugs, because he talks a lot about drugs and his skits. Louis C.K.
Oh.
That's what it looks like then.
Oh, okay. Now I understand. I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, what?
But then you started talking about it. It was like, nope, pretty
that
sure that
doesn't
he
sound
was
right.
but I wouldn't have guessed Tim Allen either. So,
Yeah.
well, obviously. So, this has been the weirdest episode ever.
Yes, it is. We've been off our, like, format. We've talked about weird things and celebrities.
Right. Also, if you're not a Patreon person, we just had this super long conversation that we're cutting out.
Yep.
You will only get to hear if you support us on Patreon.
Yes.
At the right level, and then you can get our bloopers.
Any of this.
They won't hear any of it. I'm cutting all of it out. But it was a good conversation, just a little bit beyond, which is kind of impressive since we've done the cannibals that bite off people's penises.
Yep.
But either way. But we did not talk about our book recommendation for the week, which is like becoming our thing.
Right.
So we are sponsored by audible.com, and you can get a 30-day free trial and a free book if you go to audibletrial.com/crimecrazy.
Yep.
And this week, Jordan has a book to talk about. Actually, Cameron brought it up.
Don't say his name. His name's Sound Guy.
Sound Guy brought it up, but Jordan's going to tell us about it because Sound Guy doesn't have a microphone.
And he doesn't want to.
This time.
I'll be back for
Oh, see?
He's coming back.
I'll be back. The book title is The Girl on the Train.
British author Paula Hawkins, The Girl on the Train. So tell us about
If
it.
you want to listen to it, obviously do our trial.
Tell me something about it.
I'm trying to
Sorry.
set the mood.
Sorry.
This girl that's almost as crazy as I am. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, wow.
So it's pretty much, I would say, like a psychological thriller.
Ooh.
So there are some crimes that take place that need some solvents. And I don't want to give too much away because I'm like, oh, and this happened in my head. I'm like, no, don't say that.
Well, okay. So I will just say this because I just looked it up on Audible just to, double check this on it. There are 11 different related books. Like some of them are the same book in different languages.
Oh, that's
So this must be a big thing that I've just missed.
It's on like at Barnes & Noble. It's been in the bestseller section for forever.
So that could totally be the free download.
Oh, yeah.
There's also like a 15-minute summary and analysis of, and like all like
that's for like people who are reading it in like college courses that don't want to read it. They just want the Spark Notes. So they're like,
oh, you mean like
15
Sound
minutes?
Guy's going to have to do with his summer reading projects because he's not at home reading the book.
Oh my God.
He's sitting on my couch instead.
Sound Guy.
So audibletrial.com/crime crazy. Download a free book.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be that one, obviously.
But that sounds like a good one.
Still, a free book is a free book, guys.
So after doing these like every week and coming up with another book to be like, hey, go get this one. Yeah, I'm all out of Audible credits. I'm going to have to buy extra credits.
Oh, that's great.
All right. So anything else we want to talk about this week?
I think we summed everything up.
I think so too. I think that we are going to have to catch up on shout outs next week because we've been doing the 2 pods a day and the Crime Crazy 20 and all that stuff. But now we have a bunch of like people who have participated. I want to give them a shout out and then some more reviews and that kind of thing. So we will be back with that on episode 24. And in the meantime,
don't end up on next week's episode.
I like how you spaced that out to make it sound like the pause was intentional instead of this wide-eyed shit. What am I supposed to say?
Well, she pointed at me and I was like, what did I do? I was like, panic.
All right. Have a great week.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Crime Crazy. We hope that you enjoyed listening as much as we enjoyed making it. If you like our show, please tell a friend, or better yet, subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes or your favorite podcasting app. We really appreciate your feedback and want to give you a shout out on the next episode if you leave us a review. If you leave us a review somewhere other than iTunes, just let us know. If you loved our show, consider donating to our Patreon. We have lots of great surprises that we want to share with anyone who supports us. And let's be real, it's really just an excuse to send you cool stuff. Thanks again, and remember, even though we really have no idea what we're talking about, we'll be back next week to talk about it all over again.